Well, this is an interesting story, and it is a historian who claims he has been spied on by the government. He's previously published biographies of Edward VIII, Lord Mountbatten. He claims that he's been monitored by the Cabinet Office and the Foreign Office. He put something in called, his name is Andrew Lownie, he put something in called a subject access request, which is a really useful way with any public body to find out what information they have on you under data protection laws. And there's so much material on him collected over the past 5 years. It estimated, this is the Cabinet Office, and I think there are two bits of government, the Cabinet Office and the Foreign Office, that they estimated it would take more than 650 hours to collect the information, and his requests need to be broken down into 6 monthly periods. I'm delighted that Andrew Lownie is with me now as historian and biographer. Andrew, you're very welcome to Talk TV. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks.
What has happened here? Tell us from your perspective what the Cabinet Office and Foreign Office have been up to.
Well, it's very difficult to tell. As you say, I put in these subject access requests. Eventually, after some fight, they tried to avoid, when this is a statutory obligation, they tried to avoid giving me this information. But they've now provided several hundred pages, which shows that they were monitoring not just my professional career as a historian, but talks I gave, to obscure bookshops and literary festivals, but also monitoring, for example, a defamation case that was brought against me, which I successfully defended, an employment tribunal from a former employee.
Why do they? I mean, with the greatest of respect, Andrew, and you're a brilliant biographer. Why do they care?
I don't know. Ask them. I'm only reporting what I found. Yeah. I think they don't like what I do because clearly I write quite critically about the royal family. I've had a long 5-year legal fight with the Cabinet Office to release diaries and letters of Lord Mountbatten, which were bought with over £5 million of public money to be opened and were not opened.
That was wholly bizarre. I remember this. I remember reading about this at the time, Andrew. You just wanted to write a very good biography of Lord Mountbatten. There were things that they still decided, despite the fact that this person was murdered by the IRA many years ago, despite the fact there had been people convicted of that, they said the case was still open, didn't they?
Well, there's several things here. The attempt to get the Mountbatten diaries and letters, which took 5 years, led to the largest release of FOI material ever, 33,000 pages. But they didn't like that. They tried to prevent that material being released. But you're right. In all my investigations into the death of Lord Mountbatten, into what happened with Edward VIII, documents have been destroyed, often destroyed after I asked for them. Material isn't being deposited in the National Archives as it should.
So let's just, sorry to interrupt you, Andrew, but I just want to make this clear to our viewers and listeners. So there were historical documents that you asked for, and because you asked for them, they were destroyed. And they've admitted that, haven't they?
Yes. One of the things I found in FBI files when I was researching the book was interviews that were done with people on Lord Mountbatten going back to 1943, saying that he not only was a bisexual, but he was a paedophile. And in fact, I supported this evidence with interviews I did in the book with 2 boys who were abused by him. But I then asked for other FBI files on Mountbatten, quoting the various numbers, and was told by the Americans that they had been destroyed. Now, when I asked when they'd been destroyed, they very honestly answered, after you asked for them. And this has been my experience time and time again. The government is trying to shut the stable door after the horse has bolted.
Well, let's just find out what the government has said on this, because we asked them in regard to your specific case. A government spokesman said there's no basis to these claims. It is completely wrong to suggest we have monitored Mr. Lownie in any way. But then they say, as his multiple subject access requests show, the vast majority of references made about him in the documents refer to either his numerous freedom of information requests or newspaper articles he has been quoted in, which have been picked up as part of our regular open source media monitoring. So it's wrong to suggest we have monitored him, yet you are being monitored through open source media monitoring. So you are being monitored.
I've quoted you a whole series of examples. I say I was longlisted for a post at the British Library on the board that was shared. There is stuff on, I say, legal cases. So it's not just monitoring of what I'm writing about. It goes way beyond that. And I'm not the only one. Other historians have had the similar experience.
You generate a file, of course, when you put in a subject access request, but this goes beyond this, doesn't it?
Well, you don't generate a file. I mean, what you do, when you put the request in, that you find out what they've got on you.
Yeah.
And the fact is that they've got, as you say, 650 hours worth, and they use that as an excuse not to provide this information, which they're required to do so. But this is material that's been collected for 5 years. I've only just put in these subject access requests. So this is monitoring that goes back, and they were monitoring, for example, other things connected with the court case, the crowdfunding I did to try and raise money to fight the case. So this goes way beyond media monitoring.
Yeah.
This is about the Stasi state.
Okay, Andrew, thank you so much. Will you keep us updated in terms of what you find with those subject access requests? Just keep in touch with our producer if that's okay, because I'd love to talk to you again when you get a bit more information about this. I think it's very sinister, and I wish you all the best in this.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's Andrew Lownie there, his historian and biographer. I think there's something not great about that, to be honest.